Okay, so I'm gonna try this out. I am here on my desktop computer, and so I am going to see if I'm able to do it. It's kind of an experiment. I know that the quality, because I looked at the video and the quality is not very good, and so I was setting up the camera and everything, and yeah, it's not very good, but we will try it out. I just wanted to see how this one would work. Anyways, we are here. I have my code here. I was able to clone it onto my local, on my Linux device, and I'm just going to keep on going and continuing with the project, and we'll see how this goes. It's weird because when I'm filming on my Mac, on my little MacBook, I am able to actually see something in the right hand corner, like right here, which is where I am, and I'm able to see myself. Right now I don't see anything, so I just feel very weird talking to a screen. Okay, but anyways, I'm assuming everything is up and working, so let's just get started. Okay, so what do we want to do? We are looking at this bit engine, and I am following the documentation here. So let me go to docs, step by step, come down. I also like the desktop because it is a little bit, I like working on desktops as opposed to laptops. I like having a keyboard, I like having a mouse, I like having a bigger screen, so I like this better, but the quality I don't think is extremely good of when I'm taking a video. Although when I'm like developing things kind of just by myself, I like doing the actual physical desktop as opposed to a laptop. Anyways, let's come here, and where were we? We finished all the models. We were done with that, and now we're doing this, which has, no, not this one. We were doing this one right here, and it has a lot of things which I was unsure about. So let's kind of look this over again. So we have DB context here, and actually let me see if I can, so it does actually support that. Let me just come here and go like that. Awesome. And then, oh, but it doesn't support it to be like that. Okay, fine, whatever. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, there we go. Look at that. So, what I want to do is, I'm going to be looking at this. We have DB context, and DB context is just the parent class which we are inheriting from. Okay, fine, sure. These options here, this is, I am just going to assume that this is dependency injection, and we're going to figure it out later. We're going to go and say, okay, great. This something here gets injected, and we're going to have options which are of type DB context options, and for the specific application of app DB context. We're just going to say, okay, great, that's what happens. We'll figure it out later. We'll investigate that a little bit later. Base here, now this is the parent class that gets, we're evoking the parent class's constructor and passing in this option variable as a parameter. So by the end of this, we are inheriting from a parent class, and we're filling out that parent class's constructor, and then we're done. Okay, awesome. Now, what we do is we have this DB set, okay? So DB set is also defined in entity framework. We're just trying to model the actual elements inside, or not elements, I need to be technical, tables, there we go, inside of our database. And we can go and actually look at those tables right now. Let me infrastructure here we go. So like campaigns and targeting rules and ads, all of these, right? But there's something that I noticed that is not quite right. Now if we look at this, it's campaign, and this actually like makes it pluralized, so campaigns, ads, targeting rule. But okay, how do we actually associate these tables and all of the columns? Because okay, if I have something like ads here, and let's go and look at ads, the instantiate or the class for ads. Okay, so we're not bid requests, we want campaign here. Ad. Okay, so we have here, we have ID, we have, this is a good one, campaign ID right there. So if I go, this is the standard notation for C#, but if I come oh, I lost my, there we go. If we look at campaigns, we have, where is campaign ID, is going to be, hold up, where is it? Advertiser ID? No, that's not going to be it. Campaign ID. Okay, so that one doesn't, we can, so hold on a second. First off, we can have extra parameters in here that don't directly map to the SQL database, right? Like that shouldn't be a problem. But let's just take campaign rules, and we have campaign ID. Okay. Campaign rules, and we have campaign ID. But this is with an underscore there, so it's a different naming convention. So is this going to be a problem? I think yes. The way that I'm going to do this is kind of just go say, all right, here's this. Put that into there, and then just ask that question. And then say like this, and then put this in here. So we'll see about this. And so I should have, oh, I messed it up. I was meaning to say, is this a problem? Okay. Stay consistent, targeting rules, naming mismatch. Okay, so, and that's another thing that I was noticing is actually we have a naming mismatch. So I said something like targeting rules here, and we have something which is like target or campaign targeting rules. So there's some mismatches going on here. Right now what I'm mainly trying to do is get a little bit of understanding and just feel my way around this. Honestly, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. Okay, so we have public class campaign rules, but in my DB set we have targeting rules. Targeting rules, okay. And we need to set it up to campaign rules. I don't. Okay. Can serve bug logic. Okay, so there's some. Can serve is going to be in this one, and it is no. This one. Public bool can serve. What's the problem? Status equals active, and total okay, daily budget is greater than. Okay, there we go. We solved it. We fixed it. Okay. So now, consistency between SQL and C#. SQL table campaigns has 3 constraints here. In C#, you may want to enforce these with validation logic. Okay. So we can do an enum, that's fine, that's whatever. But what I'm trying to understand is, but what I trying to get the keyboard out. Maybe I do need to get down a little. There we go. But what I don't understand is that the names of the member variables inside of the classes which I am associating with the tables in the database don't match up in names because of naming conventions. Plus, if I have extra member variables in the class, is that a problem? Okay. Alright, so great question. It's a common point of, okay, whatever. Conventions are different. Yeah, so EF automatically maps properties to columns by name, but doesn't care about casing. So, okay. Okay. If you want to explicitly control, oh, so, but it does, I need to make sure that they do kind of map to each other. It's not like campaign ID and my campaign ID, something like this. Okay, so I need to be aware of that, but we're, okay, awesome. I'm glad we cleared that up. Okay, so let's actually start to write this. So I have this one right here, and we need to put it inside of open preview, split editor, okay, like this, and now I can go make this a little bit bigger. We are. So now I don't want this one, which is the one that I want. We want bid request, right? Bid engine, no, we want app context. Bid engine data, okay, here. This is what we want, and now we want to essentially do this. So I can do using, and then bid engine dot models. This is where we are currently located, right? Bid engine, oh no, bid engine models. This is a different namespace, okay? That makes sense. So we need to include that so that we get those. Awesome. Using Microsoft. I'm just going to copy and paste that. Go on. There you are. Okay, so now we name our own namespace. So we do that. Oh, I like being able to, you know, Oh, it's satisfying. Oh, it's satisfying. Bam! Hit that keyboard. Ooh, I like this. Okay. Because on my little MacBook, I have to be so gentle and careful. But on just like a disattached keyboard, I can, it's satisfying. Yes. Namespace bid engine dot data. Okay. So now we want to declare this class. So we have public class, and so now I do need to look at this to try to figure out what's actually going on here. So app db context. Okay, so app db context inherits from db context, which should be which should be a member within the entity framework. Okay, so just by the name alone, what do we think that this is going to do? This should be something to do with kind of giving the mapping between the tables of the database and our C# models. Okay, so now let's do that constructor, public, and then same thing, app, that's the name here, app context. Okay, and now dependency injection. Okay, so I'm just going to db context options. Okay. Options. This. Base. Options. Okay. And this is going to be filled in. So this is not defined yet. So that's fine. We need a app db context, which is up here. Okay, so we are creating options, a variable called options, which is of type db context, but this db context options is going to be filled with the specific of app db context. And I think this one actually comes from this framework. It's like one of these. Okay. So now that we got that going, okay, can have that. And now we need to set up the actual tables. And so if you guys probably are noticing right now, the way that I'm doing this a little bit is I'm kind of just taking this a little bit on blind faith and saying, okay, I believe that this is going to work. If it doesn't, like, that's fine. Obviously, things very rarely work on the first try, but what I'm doing right now is just kind of getting things on the page and trying to understand as I'm going through things. And then if we run into issues, we can dynamically just like deal with them as they come up. But I think this way it is a little bit better to be able to just move forward and go a little bit faster too. Not to go faster, but just like not get stuck, you know. So that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so public. So we are going to do a public. It's getting warm. Hold up, let me take my jacket off. Okay. Alright, so public, and we have this variable called db set. Alright, so this is a type, or this is just like a class, right? So it is of type db set, and what do we want to fill it with? We want to fill it with campaign. Now campaign is a class which we created, okay? So then campaigns. Now we had one of the things which I didn't like in the last video, and this comes out to just be like a way to get a member variable, essentially. And so we're just doing get this member variable. The way that they did it, I watched some videos and it wasn't with the parentheses, or, but anyways, okay, whatever. Set campaign. So we have a set whose doing campaign, or whose items is campaigns. Awesome. Now what does this do? This means that we're having a table, right? And the table is like campaign. Okay. And we're calling it campaigns. Alright. So now we can do the same thing. Public db set. And this one is of type add. Okay. And we're going to call it ads. And without looking, I'm just going to say set and then add. So it's a set of ads here, and then I'm just copying that. Is that correct? Yeah. This one should be different, I think. So this one is going to be public and then db set. Okay. Like this. And now instead we are going to have this right here. Delete that, get that out of there. Campaign targeting rules, but I want, where is that actually defined? Campaign rules I have here. Okay, actually, so that might be okay. Is that going to cause an issue though? Because we have campaign targeting rules. Then which one do I want to change? Let me see where in this document. Okay. Can I do, where is the find and replace? Get this with targeting underscore rules. Okay. So that should be okay, and now I should be able to come back into my campaign here. Campaign rules, right? And say targeting rules. Hold on, let me make sure. Where is all of this? Change all occurrences. And I want this to be targeting rules. This. Okay. Okay, so now we should be safe to go in here. Do I need to save that there? And then say targeting rule. And I did do singular, okay. Targeting DBs, targeting rule, targeting rules. And that is we're going to return, so the getter, we are returning a set of targeting rule, okay, and like that. Okay. So we got this part. I don't know exactly what it's doing, quite honestly. Like, we looked it up, and we tried to investigate it. We did a lot in the last video, especially, to try to understand this. But I am taking a little bit of this at blind faith right now, and hoping that we'll be able to understand and put it into more context in the future. Okay, so let's kind of look at this one and try to see what happens with this. So we have protected override. Woo! Protected override void on model creating. And now we have dependency injection again. So now, I believe this is dependency injection. Maybe it's not. Hold on. Actually, because it's not a constructor, right? So maybe no. So model builder of type model builder. Okay. That's kind of the naming convention that I was used to, is your local variables are like that. So, okay. Dot base on, so base means parent class. So base dot on model creating, okay, here to here. Model builder, yes. And now, model builder entity. So actually what I kind of want to do is, I'm just going to come here and ask it to explain everything in this class. So I'm just going to say, can you explain every concept in the on model creating method? Okay. Let it do its thinking. Unfortunately, I am out of water. I think it's done doing its thinking, but I was hoping to have a longer break. Okay, hold up a second. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Alright then. Okay. Let me actually just come. Alright, let's actually just break you and go like this. That way we can just go back and forth. Okay. Actually, hold on, let me make it a little bit. Can I get rid of you? There we go. Awesome. And then make this like that. And it's actually pretty good anyways. Okay. So, we're going to come back up to here and look through everything. So base.onModel creating. So we were actually just looking at that. Calls the base class implementation. That should mean the parent, right? Ensures, okay, so follow-up question number 1. Here. This means the base parent class, which our class inherits from, correct? Okay. Follow-up question number 2. So ensures Entity Framework Core applies but any convention or configuration defined in the DB context, which is what we inherited from. DB context right there. Okay. So configures the campaign entity. Let me move this a little bit so it's easier to see, like that. Okay. So we have this here. Model builder.entity configures the campaign entity. Okay. Entity. So this is a class or a generic that we specify for a specific type, but I still don't really know what this model builder does. I want to configure how this class maps to the database. Okay. I still don't really know what this model builder actually is or what I am doing with it. Okay, so entity, and then we have our favorite little thing right there, that arrow, that's awesome. And we have here. So it looks like we're doing something for specifically the campaign, doing something specifically for the ad and the targeting rule. So we must be setting up the actual, this is probably where we're setting up the columns, right? Maybe. So entity.hasKey defines the primary key. So this is a function that just says, hey, this is a primary key. This .id, okay? All right. Number 3, where does the E come from? Okay. Is required. So we should be setting up all of the requirements for each of those columns, right? Like name is required, status is required. Here this has column type numeric. Okay, so this is setting, letting us know what the type is. Okay, that makes sense. One campaign has, alright, so we set up the correct decimal points, okay. Same as above, ensure status is always a value equivalent to not null, so that makes sense, okay. Felt like I had to sneeze. So, okay, this is fine. Now, has many. So this, I know has many is going to be kind of like a, what was that called? The relationship. You can have like one-to-one or one-to-many or whatever you want. So like, this one is entity has many. So what does this mean? A campaign has many ads. But then this E is... But we're in campaign, so with one... Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me just look here. Maybe this is more helpful. Defines one-to-many relationship. Okay, so one campaign has many ads. Each ad has one campaign. Foreign key is ad.campaignID. Okay, that kind of makes sense. I'm just defining the relationship. So now, indexes here creates database indexes for faster queries. So we kind of saw that down here. Oops. Right here. So we're just, I had to look this up yesterday as well. It's kind of just like creating a dictionary that you're able to find advertisers, like search through advertiser IDs faster kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing here. Fine. And this should be the same thing, yeah. Let's do that, let it think, and then I'll move this over and we can actually just start typing this, because I think we understand enough to get these things on paper, or on IDE I should say. So I can do... So, okay, here. Inside of the onModel creating, I am now able to do model builder dot entity. Okay. For campaign. And then say entity like this. I really don't feel great about this, honestly. Like, there's so much here that I don't know what's going on. Like, what is model builder? What is entity? I kind of get this. I'm not a huge fan of this or that. And it's like, there's a lot that I'm just like, I don't know. But now I get this entity, which is the value here, right? And so this is kind of like the value we're passing in, right? Entity dot has key, so we're mapping the primary key to E, whoever E is, and then E dot ID. Okay, and then we do all of those, and then we say entity, and I'm purposely skipping some stuff right now, has many, okay, E maps to E dot ads, okay, with one E go to E dot campaign dot has key, okay? E is mapped to this E dot campaign ID like that. Okay. Now I want to get one index, so I'll do that as well. I'm trying to get this on here and then try to investigate later. E to E dot status. Okay, great. There we go. So we got all of that. Let's come back here and look. Oh, great, awesome. Man, it's not that bad actually. There we go. Oh, and I'm noticing that this one is not bouncing, actually. Normally when I'm on my MacBook, it just bounces all over the place. So, my AppDB inherits from this. So when I call base on model creating, I'm saying run whatever configuration logic the parent DB already has. This ensures Entity Framework Core's default convention, like pluralizing table names, mapping primary keys to ID, are applied before you customize rules. Sure. What is Model Builder? Think of Model Builder as a Entity Framework Core's blueprint builder. Okay, so this is part of that entity framework thing, right? Sure. What does it do? It's an instance of Model Builder, which is what we got wherever it was here. So I think this is dependency injection. Oh. Okay. Which properties are required? Is required SQL column. Okay. That makes sense. Where does E come from? This is a lambda parameter. So we do have lambda functions. I thought that this was different. Is this different than, what did it call it from the other one? There was another, so now we do have lambda functions. So this is a real lambda function. It's not that one with the getter and the setters, right? So follow-up question number one. Now you are saying that we do have lambda functions. I thought the represented a shorthand for a getter function. Okay. So it comes up here. Awesome. The lambda, okay, hold on. The lambda entity here gives you a variable entity that represents the configuration builder for that entity. Inside that block, you often see E and E.property name. Here, E is just a placeholder for a campaign object. A campaign object, okay? So, and then we can do the ID and everything. Okay. Campaign dot, okay. Sure. So, can show up in 2 different contexts. Okay, there we go. So that's actually, when I was first, like, what was it called, embodied or something? Yeah, in expression embodied members. This is actually why I was so confused, is because I was coming from Java and JavaScript. But obviously those aren't my primary languages. My primary is C and Python, but I've done a little bit of JavaScript and Java, and those have the Lambda functions right there. And so then when I saw that when it was being used in this expression embodied members, I was so confused, and then I was like, okay, well, maybe C# just has those, like, this is just the way that it's done in C#. But now I realize that, oh, okay, they also have Lambda functions. Cool. So this is a Lambda function. It means take an entity parameter and run this block of code with it. Okay. Inside that block is another Lambda given an object E. Return its ID property. Okay. They're not getters and setters. The other context is here when I'm doing inside a property method definition. Okay, so if it's a property definition, I can just do the getter and setter of, or the, yeah, getter, whatever. Okay, fine. Well, I think I am going to leave it off now. Let me save everything. Let's see. Save all. Okay. Get status. Sure that we have all our things. Okay. Get add, get commit. Let's see, so started adding elements to the model creation to the app. I'll just say app DB context to be able to map the C# objects to their associated SQL tables and columns. Okay. Should be good. Let's make sure that it actually get push origin main. Make sure that we're all happy with it, and we are. Okay, cool. There we go. So, thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe. I'm not sure how the quality is going to be because I did it on the Linux. I mean, I like developing on my Linux device, but the quality is significantly better on my MacBook, so I think I'll probably keep doing this one. But I just wanted to try it out and just experiment with different things. And yeah, so thank you for watching. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Alright, goodbye.